I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is February 4th, 2025. Total Apex Media is back live on the air with the Total Apex Morning Show. With you, me as always, is Lawson Turner. Good morning, Lawson.
What's going on, everybody? It's a packed Tuesday morning, and I'm excited to dive into everything that we're going to be talking about this morning.
We're switching it up, ain't we, today? We got a little surprise, a little sneaky snake. We're going to get them we're going to give them some real media action today, ain't we? All right, so let's jump right into it, bro. We had quite a bit of action on the hardwood last night. The Hawks were able to outduel the Pistons 132 to 130. Again, what's going on with the Hawks? I mean, they win some, and then it's just like, where do they go? Like,
I mean, in terms of where they've been over the past couple of years, I mean, we saw this team in, I want to say it was the 2019, 2020, no, yeah, it was the 2021 season, the first year back from the COVID season. We saw this Hawks team in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, ever since then, they've been just slowly free falling, and they've just always been a young, up and coming team since they acquired Trae Young. They have some nice pieces, even though Jalen Johnson suffered a season-ending injury, and he's a fun, young, athletic, long forward. Now they picked up the win last night over Trae Young's step back, deep mid-range game winner with about 1.6 left, and the Hawks, to me, they've always just been a young, up and coming, flashy, running and gun team. We saw Trae Young even when he was in Oklahoma lead the nation in points and assists. So he's a dominant playmaker, and there are some nights where he is one of the more efficient scorers in the NBA, despite how undersized he is.
I'd love to see it. The Wizards were able to get it done against the Hornets 124 to 114. The Rockets got shot down by the Knicks at Madison Square Garden 124 to 118. The Kings were able to get it done barely against the T-Wolves 116 to 114. The Thunder, if you guys were watching the betting show last night, I told you guys to take the Thunder at -9.5. If you were listening, you probably cashed, as the Thunder blew the Bucks out by almost 30 points. The Spurs got mauled by the Grizzlies 128-109. The Pacers squeaked by the Jazz 112-111. The Pelicans got beat up by the Nuggets 125-113. The Magic, this was a sad thing for me because I actually went the opposite way on the spread with this, because I was just looking at the initial reports were that a certain player was out and he ended up playing. It really didn't make a difference in the game, but still, accuracy matters when we're betting. Everybody knows that. So, but the Magic lost to the Warriors 99 to 104. I took the Magic -3. You know, Paolo Banchero was supposed to be in a good, juicy matchup, but Draymond Green ended up playing it. And who in the hell would have thought that Kevon Looney goes off the way he did? I'm not upset. Every dog has their day, but when a player that isn't a starter plays like that, you're gonna win the game. So, and then to close out the night, we seen the Trailblazers clip the Suns 121-119 in overtime. What was your biggest takeaway from this slate?
I mean, my biggest takeaway is that what's going on with Paolo Banchero? The Magic, since he's returned from injury, they, out of the 12 games that he's played in, they've only won 2 of them. They're 2-10 in the 12 games since he's returned. And I mean, when you look just from a numbers perspective, since he's been back, especially over the past, really 3 games, he's like 21, 6 and 3 is solid, but you're shooting 10 for 23. And then against Utah, 4 for 19. And then when you look last night, just off of a pure points, rebounds, assists, night, is like, oh, he had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but he shot 9 for 24 and was a minus 24 on the floor. I still am so pro Paolo Banchero. I think he's a baby version of LeBron. He reminds me a lot of a younger LeBron. The only thing though is his lack of efficiency at times. Now he's still a young player. They're still a really young, fun, up and coming team, the Orlando Magic, with Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, who had a really nice night last night. I think they're they could be a really strong dark horse team in the East. I thought that they gave the Cavs all they could handle in the first round, it going 7, and then them blowing a 20-point lead. But once again, it's a young team. Things like that's going to happen. They're going to be ups and downs. I mean, you see Paulo and Franz miss about a month and a half, almost 2 months with the exact same injury. So it's also just kind of getting the wind back under him. And he's a really, really nice up and coming player in the NBA. So I'm not the only thing that has surprised me is the fact that in his return they've won 2 of the 12 games. That's a little concerning, but I think they're still fine in the East.
Oh yeah, I think they are too. And the East really isn't that stacked as what people believe.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, we have the Cavs and the Celtics, but outside of those two and maybe the Knicks, I'll throw the Knicks in. What the heck?
Mm.
But I mean, there's really no dominant teams. Like, you're looking at 3 out of what 8 15.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Knicks that are dominating. Like, everybody else is within a couple games. Like,
Right.
when you look at the 4th place Pacers, they're sitting at 28 and 20, and 10th place is sitting at 21-29. That's not a big gap. Like, everybody's like, but what are you talking about, man? That's 7 games. That's 7 games, dude.
That's
Like,
a 3-week stretch.
exactly. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. So
Mm.
I'm on board with you on this one. I don't think that it's time to blow the whistle. I mean, the Magic are sitting at 8th in the East, 24-27. If Paolo Banchero can get it going, they could easily move up, because the Bucks, I can't say the word that I want to that rhymes with Buck on air, but you guys, I can say Buck, what the, and you guys can fill in that blank, because at the end of the day, it's a train wreck over there. I mean, outside of the freak Greek, what's going on with Damian Lillard? I mean, when he's on the court, you don't know what version of Damian you're going to get.
Mm.
His defense prowess is way down. I mean, and this is an aged team outside of Giannis. I mean,
Right.
Chris Middleton. I mean, you look at Bobby Portis. This is an aged team that's trying to make a splash. When you're dealing with a young Cavs team, you're dealing with a young Celtics team. I mean, am I stupid for saying that we could be looking at another Celtics dynasty if they can keep this group together? You're talking Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. You're talking Drew Holiday. You're talking Derek White. You're talking, Jaylen Brown. This is a core group of studs that we have not seen on a team. Like, and they're not, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but it's not like when you look back in the 70s when the Celtics were dominant. They had the Bill Russells, the Larry Birds into the 80s. And then even when you were looking at the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, it was Pippen, but a lot of people don't look past Pippen and Jordan, but they had Steve Kerr, who wasn't really a stud at that time. Being with Chicago turned Steve Kerr into a stud. Dennis Rodman wasn't really a stud when he come in, but they turned him into a stud.
Ron Harper and a lot of other guys. Now,
yes,
to go to the original point, is that could we see a Celtics dynasty? It's really hard to be a dynasty in the modern NBA due to all of the movement. I think that they have made a lot of big time moves in terms of accumulating talent. When you talk about a starting 5, it's probably them and the Knicks as opposed to 1 through 5 starters. You have Drew Holiday, an aging guard, however, still really good defender. Derek White, who's just a glue guy who every team contending for an NBA title could use a guy like Derek White on their team. Probably the best shot blocking guard in the NBA right now. Then you go with Jaylen Brown, who every year until they won the title over the past 5 years, it's, oh, is Jaylen Brown going to get moved? And then you see them make him the highest paid NBA player ever. You give him that massive contract, and then you have Jason Tatum, he's a cornerstone superstar, and then you add a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, who's a walking mismatch at 7'3". Now he has had injury issues over the past, but it's funny to me as to how when a injury riddled player goes to a good situation and a good franchise, that it kind of sometimes just fades away. I mean, we saw him in the playoffs last year kind of be in and out of the lineup, but even without that starting five, you have Peyton Pritchard, who's taken another big leap from year 2 to 3. Al Horford coming off the bench. Then you have Sam Hauser, who can come in and rain threes. They're a well coached team under Joe Mazzulla. They are one of, if not the most talented team in the NBA, 1 through 9. Like they're excellent. There's almost no holes in that starting five, and even the 2 to 3 that come off the bench.
Speaking of excellent, what is excellent when we have return viewers that love to pop in and tell us good morning. So station identification for Marie. Good morning, Marie. We hope you're doing well this morning. Thanks for joining the show. We all know that recognizing our viewers is a way to keep the viewers.
Right.
So enough about the NBA, because we got a lot to cover today, and I don't want to be on the air for 9 hours, because I easily could with as much stuff as I've dug up, but we're not going to get into that. Onto the ice. Let me see. Yesterday, there was only one game. The Senators were able to skate past the Predators 5-2. Mm-hmm. This game was all about the Senators. I mean, you look at who was scoring. It was Adam Gaudette. It was David Perron. They had 3 shots on goal apiece, 2 points apiece, and each had a goal apiece. This is just a dominant performance by them. They also got a little bit of extracurricular goals from Shane Pinto and Jake Sanderson. This is a dominant performance by the Senators. And let's face it, the Predators, they're not, I don't
you don't like them?
I don't like the Predators.
It amazed me because with all the talent that they accumulated in the offseason, like you add a pure goal scorer that Steven Stamkos is, even at this age in his career, you add Jonathan Marchessault, who's a walking 40-plus goal scorer. You saw them in the playoffs last year against the Canucks. They arguably were the better team for the majority of that series. They just couldn't score goals. Like you have Saros, who is one of the best goalies in the NHL. Now he's a little undersized. However, we've seen him in the past be excellent. Roman Josi, one of the most underrated defensive players in the NHL. I thought coming into this season, I'm like, oh, they solved their scoring problem. This is going to be a top 10 team in the NHL, and I could not have been more wrong. I was a buyer in Nashville coming into this season. When you look at, like I mentioned, when you bring in the amount of goals that they could provide between Stamkos and Marchessault, and they've just, I don't know if it's a chemistry thing, I don't know if it's a connection thing, I don't know if it's just you have so much anticipation and high hopes for a season. Now, Barry Trotz, their GM, has said that, we're going to reload this offseason. So maybe they're another year away, but with the timeline, Stamkos is not getting any younger, and he's already gone up there in age, which is why we saw him leave Tampa and come to Nashville. But overall, I think that on any given night, they have the high-end talent in name to compete with any team, but up to this point in the season, they have fallen flat on their face. And it's not a shot towards any of these players, because they do have some high-end talent in key spots. However, can you get your superstars the puck? And I think that they need to, in this offseason, I think they need to add another center to, get Marchessault, who's on the wing, and Stamkos, who still has one of the most nastier slap shots in the NHL, the puck.
I love it when you dissect it, bro. It's just a joy to watch you dissect it. For those of you guys that don't know much about Lawson, he is a jack of all trade and a master of none. He can dive into anything. He's watches everything. And you guys are going to get to see a little bit more of his repertoire, as I like to call it, as we continue to progress here through the show. But from the ice back to the college hardwood, we had one game yesterday in the top 25 where
Mhm.
we saw Kansas, number 16th in the country, bounce back after their loss over the weekend, and they defeated the Iowa State Cyclones 52-69. Are you high on this Kansas team?
I think this Kansas team is almost as scary as any team due to, as we were talking about yesterday, there hasn't been a dominant just number one top. There hasn't been just a dominant number one or any
Mhm.
top three teams that have just been, oh, they're the world beaters. I mean, when you look, this team is so big. Hunter Dickinson, he's 7'1" and is a dominant interior, score. But like you just did, they're just up and down. But a lot of teams this year, especially in the middle of games, they're just up and down. Like we've seen Auburn and Duke in the middle of games just be up and down. They'll go a 4-minute stretch in which it looks like it's just ugliness and they can't get anything going. They can't get into any of their sets or their plays. And I just think that we touched up all on it yesterday. It's the fact that there hasn't been any dominant team, and all of these teams can essentially be beat in a one game scenario.
So hands down, let's just put it to rest. Who's the one team that no one wants to play in the tournament this year?
I mean, it's the team with the best player. I mean, it's Duke. And for if you are a pro Cooper Flag, like their
Like you?
team,
Like you?
absolutely. If you're somebody like me, you don't. The thing about March Madness, because it's a one game scenario, any one player can just take over games. Now, it's also led to a lot of upsets in previous years in which, a team just doesn't show up, or it seems like there's a lid on the rim. But in any one game scenario, I don't think anybody wants to play Duke and the high ceiling that Cooper Flag and that he does so many things right. He gets his teammates involved. He's a good rebounder, fantastic scorer. He's a jack of all trades in terms of players just at the college game. And March Madness is going to be really fun because I don't know how many times they have to hit the nail on the coffin. There's no dominant team, so there's not going to be just one team that just wins the first 3 rounds by 40.
Yeah, I'm going to do this because I know that they're sitting at 18-4 on the year, which that's not a bad record at it by any means, but they are sitting at number 4 in the country. I think a team to watch because they've been battle tested for like the last 3 years and on that cusp of really going and winning it all. I think my team to watch this year is going to be Tennessee. I think Tennessee is one of they play fast. They're good on both ends of the ball. They're probably outside of the Cooper Flag. Okay. They are probably one of the most consistent teams in the country. You know what Tennessee is going to bring to the court every game. And there's no half step and there's no dip in the middle of the game. There's none of that. They bring it and they bring it the whole game. I really like Tennessee this year. Of course, I'm hoping that Duke lines up on the other side of the bracket because that would be a dogfight. But if it come down to it, I don't know with Duke if they would be able to keep up with the amount of points that Tennessee can score.
Yeah.
That's the problem is Tennessee scores points by the buttload.
And it's not just one guy.
It isn't. It's like the whole bench can come in and score, drop 15, 20 points if they are called upon to do so. So I really think Tennessee is the team to beat this year. I'm just a little biased on that because I've seen what Tennessee's done for the past couple. So, Lawson, every now and again, there's a misconception in the community that Total Apex is just sports. Is this the case?
We got 7 sites for a reason.
Oh, we do. So let's take a pause for the cause. Let's go ahead and make sure that they recognize the social media. You guys stay tuned as we unravel some entertainment and gaming news from around the world. You heard it right. We ain't just sports people. We are Total Apex Media. Welcome back. So, Lawson, we were talking in the pre-show that, we need to encompass more of what goes on within our company because there's this montage and this belief that we are only a sports company and we only do bets and fantasy. Contrary to popular belief, that is the furthest thing from the truth. So, we're going to start doing the morning show a little bit different. And I think, Lawson, you really like this idea because it gives you a little bit of opportunity to talk about something other than sport. So let's jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
New movies that are coming out this month. So, Lawson, we were talking in the pre-show. Obviously tomorrow I'm excited because there is a new Led Zeppelin movie coming out. Becoming Led Zeppelin hits theaters tomorrow. And as an old man, I love my classic rock. Like, come on, Led Zeppelin is the epitome of classic rock. I mean, who can't get excited when they hear just the guitar solo for Stairway to Heaven?
Right.
What else you got on the docket over there that's coming out here soon? I know that Valentine's
Day is
Day
going to be awesome.
Yes.
Valentine's Day is going to be awesome. You've got, Captain America. You've got the new Paddington movie for, your kids. But I'm really excited to see how this Captain America goes. It's the first one without Steve Rogers. You got Henry Ford playing the Red Hulk, which that's what I'm interested to see. You told me in the pre-show that Mark Ruffalo didn't really give Harrison Ford any advice on how to play Hulk. So, when you have a legendary actor that Harrison Ford is, when you have him playing a predominant role that the Red Hulk is, it's gonna be interesting to see how he puts his own individual twist into it. And it's the first one without Steve Rogers, which some people are pro change, some people they're scared of change, which I understand. However, I think this has potential to be really boom or bust. And since the Avengers, Marvel's been kind of on a up down tick. They put out a couple good stuff, then they put out some flops. But overall, I'm excited for this movie. I think that it on its high end, it could be really, really entertaining and could set the precedence for future Captain America movies.
On a lighter note, I think that Paddington in Peru is going to be a smash hit just because there's a lot of single mothers in this world. Okay, let's face it. And they spend Valentine's Day with their kids. And Paddington has hit it. Every Paddington that's come out has done fairly well. I think they've done a really good job with the franchise. It's just interesting to see. But I have a member on my staff, and there is a movie coming out that really is going to hit home with her. She is currently getting her PhD in osteoskeletal health. And there's a movie launching on the 21st. Let me make sure my date is correct. Yes, the 21st of February, called Unbreakable Boy, which is based on a book that follows Austin, played by Jacob Laval, who is diagnosed with a rare brittle bone disease. And he also has autism. And it's going to be one of these realistic, based on a true story. And that's the kind of movies I really, really, really love because it's based on a true story. And I don't think that there's a lot of public acknowledgement of little less known diseases. Okay. So, like,
Mm.
full disclosure, we're all live on air, so it's being recorded. I am the father of a terminally ill child. I have a daughter who suffers from cystic fibrosis, and it is a daily struggle. But you know what? It's not very much talked about in the community. There are communities, but it's because those communities are directly affected by the disease itself. And there is
What is
no
that, if you
cure.
don't
There's
mind me asking?
medication. So cystic fibrosis is a uncurable lung disease. It can also affect the liver, where they can't the mucus will build up in the lungs and end up
Mm.
suffocating the patient.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of breathing treatments and everything like that that go into keeping the kid healthy. I was grateful enough that my daughter has the two most common forms of delta cystic fibrosis. That's the delta F508 strand. So she has double mutation of that, which is easier to manage. But my heart goes out to the families of the parents of children with CF, because not every case is the same, and there are kids that don't even make it until they're 16. So it's and the medical costs that goes into it and everything like that. This movie, Unbreakable Boy, is just going to be a phenomenal movie. If the directors did it properly, this is going to be a heartwarming story that's going to really bring some awareness to people with bone disease and brittle bones. And of course, everybody is very sensitive to anybody with autism. So this has all of the makings, Lawson, to be a slam dunk home run movie.
I mean, you've convinced me to now to go see it, so I might have to go. I might have to take that trip to the AMC or something, to check it out. Because if it is as good as you've described it and could be as heartwarming, that could be really interesting and a great watch for almost anybody. Because just like you said, everybody knows or knows of somebody that has or has been affected by some variant of autism.
See, we have that effect on people. So somebody needs to get me the number to AMC so I can get some sponsorship, because I can put butts in seats.
Right.
Okay. So, and yes, extremely rare. And she has stock with AMC. So you need to talk to your board of directors and get me a sponsorship. So from a serious aspect of a serious movie to bringing back the cartoons that I grew up on, there will be a new Looney Tunes dropping in theaters near you on February 28th, the day the Earth blew up. A Looney Tunes movie played by Eric Bauza, Porky Pig, and Daffy Duck return to the big screen. They become unlikely heroes as they band together to save Earth from evil aliens. Look, it sounds corny, but
It's Looney Tunes.
it's Looney Tunes. How can you not love Looney Tunes? Like, if
it's always a good time.
You are un-American at this point if you do not acknowledge the brand that is Looney Tunes. Like, every kid.
Even from the early 2000s when they had the baby show and they were all baby Looney Tunes walking around, like, it's just
exactly.
There's so many spin-offs. There's so much just goofiness. Even if you go back and watch like the older versions of Looney Tunes, they're always just a good fun watch.
Yes, absolutely. And then to close out the month, there's a couple other ones. The one that I really am interested in, it's called The Legend of Ochi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this girl who goes to like an island in the Black Sea, and then it's just chaos. According to the description, it's supposed to be like an action adventure movie, and of course it's got my favorite animal. If you guys want to see what that animal is, visit any one of my sites. Just put in Total Apex and then type in what you want to go see. Sports, TotalApexSports.com, TotalApexSportsBets.com. and so forth and so on. For entertainment, go to totalapexentertainment.com and you will see my favorite animal in a hoodie at the top of the screen. So there's this little bit of selfless promotion there, Lawson. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there.
I get you good.
But
Gorilla.
yes. And then there is a lot of hype because Woody Harrelson returns to the silver screen as well in a movie called Last Breath. It is based on a true story, and deep divers must do all they can to rescue a crewmate that is stranded hundreds of feet beneath the surface of the ocean. So we got 2 true stories coming out in theaters in February, and I think it's going to be a smash hit.
Mhm.
So I think out of all of them, though, Unbreakable Boy sits atop the list, and I'm corny, so I've got kids. Yeah, I'm like Heath Slater. I got kids. I really am looking forward to the Paddington in Peru.
Yeah.
Y'all can call me a pansy all you want, but I love me some Paddington the bear.
I haven't
And
seen I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I remember when they were coming out in the trailers. It just looked like just like a classic normal kids movie. Just a good fun sit down
Mhm.
watch.
Absolutely, absolutely. So from movies to TV,
Ooh.
Lawson, let's face it. At this point, I don't think 75% of America has cable television anymore. It's all streaming.
I
I
don't.
mean, from Netflix to Hulu to Paramount Plus,
Hmm.
So I was sitting and looking at the list of shows that are coming to Netflix this month, and me personally, they're bringing the Founder is now live on Netflix. Bogota, City of the Lost is Netflix film that's now launched. It's new. The Graham Norton Show, The Best Bits, the week of January 24th is now live on YouTube as well. I'm sorry, Netflix as well. And then tomorrow, they are bringing in Alone Australia, which is supposed to be like a survivalist type of show. Season 1 hits Netflix tomorrow. Celebrity Bear Hunt, Envious Season 2, Grimsburg Season 1, Kind of Pregnant. Now that title makes me not want to watch it because how are you kind of pregnant?
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, you either are or you aren't. I'm just saying it's good
Right.
wordplay. It's a
Right. I
marketing
mean,
strategy. Kind of pregnant.
yeah.
How are you kind of pregnant?
So you gotta watch. You at least gotta watch the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
to see how. Right.
10 minutes equals $1 million to Netflix because everybody's going to watch it 10 minutes and realize, oh my God, it's either going to be really good or really bad right out of the gate.
There's no in between.
No, there's no in between. Not with a name like that. And then Prison Cell 211, new Netflix series is hitting tomorrow, and Syntonia season 5, which is another Netflix series, is also launching tomorrow.
Mhm.
Which one do you have today, my friend? Are you looking at any of them from any of the other platforms?
I mean, in terms of stuff that's coming this month, I'm more of an HBO Max watcher myself. I enjoy I think HBO has so many good shows from, if you're a fantasy guy and or person and you're pro Game of Thrones, they got House of Dragons. If you like more of a darker version of shows, they've got shows like The Penguin, which was excellent. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, I did. Colin
It
Farrell did a
Oh
very
my,
good
you
job.
want to talk about an acting performance? Good
That
hell, he was
was
chef's kiss. He was awesome. I see that just this month they're bringing Bad Boys 1 and 2. They're bringing back Final Destination 1, 2, 3, and 5. And I don't know if you're a pro Final Destination person. I am. They're just always good, goofy killer movies. Those those to me are some of the releases that I'm looking forward to. But to travel off of Netflix, what are some that you're interested in, whether it be Max, Peacock, or Hulu?
for me. I'm with you on Max because I'm like a geek. So I'm one of those ones that has to have the TV playing when I try to go to sleep for the night. So
Yeah.
I think that I have made the Big Bang Theory franchise about $1.5 million because I've got it like on auto repeat.
Yeah.
So, but there is a show on Max that I really, really love. I've watched the series like 3 times, and it's not new, but it's called Chuck.
Mhm.
And it's about this dude that's like a computer. He works at like a nerd herd type deal, like a Geek Squad, and he gets this like government program implanted in his head by one of his old college buddies, and he ends up. It's just an all around action adventure kind of
Mhm.
storyline, and I'm into that kind of stuff. When you talk about what's coming on, I mean, there's so much coming to Hulu. You're looking at, they're bringing some of the classics to Hulu. So Billy Madison will be coming, is now on Hulu. Bleach, I know the popular anime series, the 1,000 Year Blood War season 3 is now live. There's a lot of shows that are coming out on Netflix. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Monster in Law, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Taken 3. That is one thing I hate about streaming. Like, put the whole damn series up. Why you got to go from 1 to 3? What happened to 2? No love for part 2. I mean, we've seen that with the Final Destination is, well, they're going to put 1, 3, 5, and 7 up there. What happened to 2 and 4? You guys got something against 2 and 4? I'm asking for a friend.
Right, and like to bring up your point about having incomplete series, like I just checked on Paramount. On the 1st of February, they added the first Transformers movie, which I guess that was the only one missing. Because I'm pro Transformer movies. They're awesome sci-fi big giant robots fighting each other. Like, what's not? Well, if you just like action, what's not to like about it? Yeah, though, but there's with the pro streaming services due to cables kind of going away, other than you watch it for politics or you have it for sports. So, but with a lot of your sports now getting individual streaming deals, we just saw what the NBA deal did, like with their new contract with them being on ESPN and Prime and a lot of other streaming services. I think that it's just another thing to watch, because how many, I'm in the minority in which I still love. Oh, I love my every Thursday night. I love me some Law and Order SVU every Thursday night. My Law and Orders that come out every single week. Don't give me. I have nothing against shows that they give you it all in one blow. But there's the anticipation as to, oh hell, now I gotta wait for next weekend to see what the next episode is. I don't know. There's something.
I know exactly how you feel, because
it's the looking forward.
I used to watch a show.
Awesome. Yeah.
I watched a show called Prison Break, and it was like
I've heard
episode.
I've heard that show was awesome.
Like, you have got to be kidding me. I have to wait a whole week to see what happens. It was so bad, dude, that I made it through season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I made it halfway through season 2. I said, I've got to stop watching this because it's making me angry. Like, I cannot stand all this anticipation, and I know the purpose of it, to keep people coming back. Right. So, but I love shows like that. Like I love it and I hate it at the same time. I'm like, you son of out of rip. But there's not too many shows like that, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and them's the classics. The other one was on Netflix. Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
Funny,
awesome
funny
show.
series. Yes, but every episode ended with like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And that's why people are switching to streaming, because usually when they launch these new series, they've already launched the entire first season. Like another series that I'm very high on that's only on Paramount Plus is Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Phenomenal series. I love mob and mafia themed shows and movies. Big Godfather fan. And this is sort of like that, where Sylvester Stallone, sort of took a loss for the family and pled guilty to a murder he didn't commit. He gets out, and then the family disowned him and sent him out to Tulsa to start his own stuff. But they still wanted his cut. And so it becomes a battle between what Sylvester Stallone's created in Tulsa, Oklahoma, versus what's going on in New York. Phenomenal series. So, but yeah, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We will be covering a little bit more of, we don't want to discuss all of what to watch on these streaming services in one show, because then we won't have no content for tomorrow. So stay tuned tomorrow as we break down some more TV shows to watch, movies to watch. We're also going to get into a little bit of indie action, because I know it's a very popular market, Lawson, and now we just want to give the people what they want. We want to be able to anybody to come in and watch our show and say, you know, I don't watch sports, but there's that one section. It's sort of like the news. You know what I mean? Like I watch the news for the weather, but I have to listen to the local news, the national news, the world news, just to get to weather. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm Walter Cronkite saying good night, America. No, I'm just kidding. So, but station identification. And when we come back, hold on to your controllers. Make sure that you updated your systems, because we've got some breaking news coming from the gaming world. We'll be back in 30. Why does 30 seconds seem so short when you want it to last longer? I'm asking for a friend. Gaming news. Welcome back, everybody. So, Lawson, you know, there's just certain times when you get excited about gaming. And I personally, you know, me and you have had the pleasure of playing, you know, together on a particular platform. We've murdered people.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we've left bodies laying. So don't call the FBI, the CIA people. We are talking about the world phenomenon that is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. For those that play the game, we know that the big update, season 2 launched. First off, the maps. Like, I'm not upset about them, and I'm not like, wow. Like, there's a couple of them, like, I think that they're trying to, it's almost like the battleship one or the ship one. I forget the name of it, but they sort of just took from the docks where they had shipyard, and then
And it's
just
like
put
an
it out in
off-brand
the
hijack, kind of, just smaller.
Yeah. And then big zombie fans here. We play a lot of zombies. I've got other coworkers that I play with as well. The Tomb. That map has to be probably one of my favorites that they've done in a while. There is a portal. For those of you guys that have never played this game, I encourage you guys to do it. If you just so happen to have Xbox, it is free to play with any subscription to Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. Okay. So I encourage you guys to download it. Just be prepared. If you want to play it in the evening, I would suggest you download that in the morning, because it's like 250 gigabytes large.
It's massive.
It takes forever to download, but I love the Tomb. You know, there's a section in there that the people that I play with, they laugh at me, but I refer to it as Alice in Wonderland, because there's a portal that takes you in, and you go from dirt, dust, and sand and brick to this vibrant, like, it's like you almost done drugs or something. It's trippy. Like you're on an acid trip or something. I've never done this stuff, but I'm just saying, like, you've seen enough movies to know what they're trying to hint at. And you go from dirt, dust to, oh my God, it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in here. Oh my God, the mushrooms, they spit out salvage, and the snozberries taste like snozberries. And oh my God, but it is just such a fun map. And me and my crew that, you know, we play, and we're trying to beat the story before they actually take away the calling card for that. So that's something that we're going to be tackling. But there's an actual story where you have to go through, and the ice staff is the wonder weapon. Now you can still get the ray gun on here, but it's a very. What are your thoughts on the tomb?
For all you Easter eggers, it's the map in like in terms of just the map by itself. I think it's very well put together. Um, it's a simple starting section 2-lane map, and then you go to, as Dusty said, Alice in Wonderland world. Um, it's a two-part ish map. Like you have, your starting area, your 2 lanes, and then you go to the back side of the map, and then you can go through this door, which leads to a whole nother fluorescent area. And when Dusty put it in good terms, where it's like, oh, when you pop acid and you're seeing all these vibrant colors and all kinds of stuff, and you're in Alice in Wonderland world. Overall, I think it's a solid 7 out of 10. The maps are really fun. I thought it was awesome that they brought the ice staff back. We haven't seen any staffs since Black Ops 3. And for all you ice staff fans for Origins, that was the best map in Origins. I mean, I said map, it was the best staff in Origins. I think overall, like I said, I give the map a solid 7 out of 10. It's fun, it's fast paced, it's more close quarters than any of the other ones. But overall, I have a really good time playing it. It's really fun.
Now, from because me and my crew, we play every night for a couple hours just to sort of unwind from the day of hectic antics. So we've been playing a lot of domination, deathmatch. And so I don't know if you've played much of that, but what's your favorite map that they've brought into that? Now, me personally, the dealership is a good one. Bounty is a good one. I think Bounty hands down is my favorite. It's the one that has the multi-level building, the drywall section,
Mm.
The hallway, the waterfall elevators. That map has to be one of my favorites. And then followed up with dealership. There's you learn the maps very quickly, and you
Right.
find out real quick where people are hiding.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, that's part of the game, I know, but man, sometimes I play with one gentleman, and I tell you what, he absolutely hates campers. Hates them. And
It's
it's part of the game, but it is. I mean,
it's
you
strategically sitting still. I get you.
yes, it is strategically just the watch and wait game, but
Right.
it is absolutely I have fun playing Call of Duty. It's my
Yeah.
go-to game. Um, but from a weapon standpoint, they also brought in a couple new weapons, and I know some of my crew members that I run with on Black Ops 6, they've already maxed out that new Cypher.
Hmm.
Oh my God, they love it. They absolutely love it. And then they've got the PPSH. Very, very. I know that you're an ASVAL guy, an
Yeah.
ASVAL guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a camo grinder, so especially for zombies, because that's the mode I like. So there hasn't been one particular weapon on there that has really really grabbed my attention. I'm excited for because I'm not pro buy the super battle pass to where you can just already jump it up, because where's the reason to you play the game? But the PPSH, I mean, I'm excited that it came back in the game, because even in the old Call of Duties, like when you look at Call of Duty World War II, it was one of the best guns in the game. And the PPSH, whenever it's in Call of Duty, you at least have to try it. It's fun. It's an SMG. It's easy to handle. It's a really just run. It's a for the majority of SMGs, run around, mow them down, reload, and just keep it going.
Yes, absolutely. And every once in a while, I buy those operator packs that come with the guns and the calling
Yeah.
cards. I bought the Serpent pack, and I have to tell you something. There is a gun in this pack. I bought the Snake pack. You know which one I'm talking about, Lawson, the
Yeah.
one that has the Serpent. They have a XM4 in that
Mhm.
has to be the most smoothest, no recoil XM4 that I have ever played with. Like, I hate when guns just you start shooting and as you're hitting their head and then just up in the sky with recoil.
Right.
So, but this XM4, it's called the Venomer, and it
Mhm.
is probably one of the smoothest XM4 gun layouts that I have ever played with. So I have to give that. But now let's talk about the big news. Yesterday, they did a small update and all of the rumors were correct. Starting, I think we got about a day and a half now, but they are doing a Terminator event. What are your thoughts on this?
I am pro whenever games come out and do certain events with shows or movies or franchises. They always put the little light twist into it. We just saw I want to say it was a week ago when they had the Squid Game stuff and they had the red light green light on there, and it was really fun. So I'm excited to see what the Terminator kind of. I don't know if it'll be a mode, a skin, a weapon skin. I don't know what it'll be, what the whole event will be. But I mean, for all of these games, especially your shooter games, when it comes to like Call of Duty or Fortnite, these collabs are awesome. All of the skins are
Absolutely.
excellent, details fantastic. I'm excited for whenever any collab happens in any game. I always at least want to tap into it just to see, because obviously Call of Duty is going to put their twist on whatever version of Terminator that gets added to the game. So
I
I'm
mean,
overall just
I love the events, but I also hate the events because everybody's gunning for it. So now it's going to be a game filled with Terminator operators. Like,
yeah.
I already know what's going to happen.
Well,
But
yeah, it's
like,
the Terminator. He's
it,
he's a popular sci-fi character, right?
exactly. And then, like, you already know the weapon that it's going to be. Like, what gun did Schwarzenegger favor the most in most of those movies? The shotgun.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm a collector of the skins. I completed the Squid Game, event in record time. Like, I had it done the first day it launched. Like, I was
Mm.
already through it all. Um, but from Black Ops 6 to some news for all of my Sony people. It has been announced, Lawson, that Sony will be removing the PS4 games from the PlayStation Plus subscription effective January 2026. Now, from what we're collecting, and if you guys want to take time and go over to totalapexgaming.com and check out my article on that, from what we are collecting and all of the news that we've received, is that if you have that PS4 game downloaded onto your console, they will not take it, but they will be removing all of the PS4 games from the PlayStation Plus. Now, I've got sort of mixed feelings about this because it really don't cost them anything to keep them games up there.
Right.
But at the same time, I do understand that look, the PS5 is probably it's from what I'm collecting, it is literally drawing comparisons to the popularity of the PlayStation 2. And Lord knows how many people had the PlayStation 2. So they've really done a good job with this platform. And I think that they're wanting to try to put more focus on the PS5. Plus, I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's also rumors that within the next 2, maybe 3 years, they're going to be launching the PS6.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I understand the move, but it just sucks because those PS4 games are that nostalgic feel. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they, that's one of the reasons that a lot of people had the PlayStation because they went back and they were able to play some of those PS2 games and the PS3 and the fours. But what are your feelings on this?
In terms of removing like the PS4 games entirely, just think of all of the PlayStation 4 games that aren't going to get remastered for the new consoles, and that's why a lot of people kept like you mentioned, they kept their PlayStation 3 games and their PlayStation 3s and their PlayStation 2s to go back and play like God of War 1 through 3, and then they came out and remastered all of them to be on the PS4. Um, But for someone that a PlayStation 2 was their first console, like gaming console on the TV, um, it sucks because I'm pro nostalgia. I'm pro all of it. If you love old games, I love that. It's the gaming has touched so many people in so many different ways to where everyone has a story, everyone has a special game or a time in their heart, and it's impacted so many people's childhood to where if you have to go out and buy a completely separate console just to relive your nostalgia, in which, like you said, I don't know how much it would cost to keep it going on the PlayStation Plus, but I think they're making enough just from the service just to keep it going regardless.
We got Holly wanting to play now. Black Ops 6.
Well, yeah, it's
Comment
free on Game
come
Pass
in
if you
late.
got an Xbox.
And yeah, there you go. So 2027 at the earliest, if that. So we got about 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So, but on to the last segment, and I'm dedicating this section to the show that was. The social medias are ablaze. The everything is just going crazy with everything that happened at the 2025 Grammys. We had Kanye West show up with his wife butt naked with a see-through, like, I mean, it looked like she was just wearing pantyhose at this point. Like, you could see everything. And what were some of your takeaways from the Grammys?
I mean, Kendrick Lamar winning with Kendrick Lamar's record, Not Like Us winning record of the year and song of the year. That was by far. I feel like the song in general, it was more of what was going on during social media at the time, because it was diss track after diss track after diss track, 5 minutes apart, and Twitter was going insane. In regards to the Kanye stuff, I'm pro Kanye West. No one can make me hate Kanye because of the music that he's put out. So like the early 2000 Kanye, I I'm the sicko in the padded room with the straight jacket on. Like, he made Graduation. You can't tell me nothing. Um, him and his music will always have just a little special place in my heart, just because I enjoy his older music. In regards of them kicking him out due to he wasn't or escorted out due to he wasn't invited, I don't know. I mean, he's still a massive impact in the music industry, whether you think he's nuts now or not. you know Now, once again, don't show up to the Grammys ass naked. But once again, it's not the first time we've seen his wife, in those kinds of outfits before. Like,
Exactly.
she's been at red carpets like that before. Now, I understand the Grammys it's a completely different thing, but it's not something we've seen that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah. No, definitely. Album of the year was taken home by Beyonce. If I'm not mistaken, this is her first album of the year. I think I read an article where she actually got pretty emotional about it, And again, we are seeing, a lot of first times. Cowboy Carter, she sort of went with more of a country hip hop type of thing. And I actually thought it was decent. You know what I mean? It was
It blew up.
it was something different. It was something different. And that's what I was looking at. So I think honestly, do you feel like they got it right this year with the awards?
I mean, there wasn't anything that had me in an uproar. I saw some people on social media saying that Billie Eilish got robbed. Now, once again, I'm not a Grammys watcher. I'm not someone that's gonna say, "Oh, she was robbed of this exact award." So I don't know. I'm just coming from the ether. That's what I've seen a lot of people say. Now, when in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that they got that many things wrong. In terms of like, in terms of who were your winners, yeah, I feel like everyone was well deserving of all their awards, and there wasn't any like two shockers like, oh, not like us won Song of the Year. Well, it did because it was by far when it first dropped, it was everywhere. It was on so many commercials or just the beat. You know, there were so many things that went into just that song that really made it blow up. But yeah, I don't think there was any coming out of the West Side of anything coming just out of the woodworks that was like they shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that honestly people watch the Grammys for the red carpet mishaps.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it
part
really,
it's part of it. It's fun.
yeah, it's fun. And again, Kanye stole the show. And then, of course, we had Will Smith's boy show up with a castle on his head. I'm
Right.
like, that's just fashion. That's fashion through and through,
Yeah.
So, but it's not my kind of fashion. But
Right.
to each their own. When you have that much money, and if you just so happen to want to put a castle on your head, I'm sure somebody like that. We've got the cake master out in Brooklyn, right? I mean, if you want to make anything a cake, he can make it a cake.
More power to
Some
you. You
people
know.
can put a castle in somebody's head. That's fine. It's creative. It's catchy. And at the end of the day, they accomplish. It's not about the way that they look. It's about the attention that they're going to get from having a castle in their head.
Right.
So I was okay with it. I think the Grammys were a smash hit this year. I think we got the drama that we expected. I think we got the awards that needed to go where they went. We also need to pay, respect to the best new artist, who was Chappelle Roan.
Mhm.
They took home the best new artist award. Um, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, the Good Luck Babe by Chappelle Roan was one of the nominees for Song of the Year or Record of the Year. Again, I mean, there's so much that we could have talked about with the Grammys, but one of the things that I did like about the best new artist, Teddy Swims, I've actually been listening to him for like 5-6 years. He is a YouTube sensation. He started off singing, and to see him up there with Shabuzi, Ray, all of those as new artist nominees, I think that's refreshing. That means that social media works. The best classical producer of the year, non-classical, went to Daniel Nigro. He did the song "Can't Catch Me Now" from Hunger Games. He also was part of Chappelle Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. So, Amy Allen won for Songwriter of the Year for non-classical. She's the one who wrote Chrome Cowgirl. The best pop solo performance went to Miss Sabrina Carpenter. And my kids love the song Espresso. So, definitely. Die with a Smile took home best pop duo group performance, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Best pop vocal album went to Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. Best dance electronic recording went to Never Render, Justice and Tam Impala. It was a very, very interesting show. The best mixed recording, I have to say this. So they redid Espresso with Mark Ronson, and it was with Sabrina Carpenter. It was, if you haven't heard that version of it, you got to go check it out. They did a very, very good job on that. And then the best rock performance went to the Beatles, Now and Then. So I'm happy to see that. Very, very happy. But again, make sure you guys stay tuned to Total Apex Entertainment as we continue to digest the monstrosity and the action that is the 2025 Grammys. You got anything you want to add, Lawson?
No, I think we touched up on basically everything.
Awesome. So, from all of us here at Total Apex Media, we hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for another great show. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. We will put them all up on air. We've been trying to put them all up on air. But for Lawson, for Dusty, and the rest of the Apex Media family, peace.